we'll start this all.
Hey you guys, this is Eric. I am up in Oatman, and we are doing our newsletter today from Oatman, my old stomping ground as far as sign carving. And the gentleman that you guys have probably heard me talk about, his name is Skip O'Brien, the carving cowboy. He's kind of taken over for me, and he's we decided to come up here and do an interview with him today. So Dad and I came up to visit him, and this is his displays. So the neat thing about Skip is he makes really nice signs, but he doesn't do it on site the way I did. He takes orders, then goes home and then makes them in his shop, and then ships them. As a matter of fact, we were just standing here and he got an order from this gentleman right there, which is pretty cool. Just ordered, I don't know, $70–80 worth of signs. But yeah, Skip's doing some really nice work these days. So I just wanted to get on here, since Skip was talking to his customer, get on here and show some of his stuff. That's Skip in the cowboy
You might
hat.
mention the video that I made about Oatman way back years ago.
Oh yeah, you've seen Oatman on our videos before, but yeah, I just thought I'd come up and do an interview with Skip for our newsletter and kind of show his stuff. Let me go over here, and he does really nice signs. Hey guys, all right, we're back. So I want to introduce everybody to Skip O'Brien.
Hi.
He is now the official sign carver in Oatman, where I used to be a few years ago. So Skip, tell us, give us your story of how you came to start doing this stuff.
Well, I sell an eyeglass cleaner. It's called Optic Guard. I'm going to mention it because it's right there. And I've been doing it for 25 years this past January 17, 1991. And I came to town looking for a place to set up to sell my glass cleaner. And who was the first person I talked to was Eric. And he was busily making these signs, and I was just aghast looking at this stuff, and I fell head over heels in love with it. And I wound up spending almost 2 hours talking to Eric that day. I don't know if you remember that.
I do, actually. I do.
At the time, you were selling 3 DVDs for $100, and I came up with the money.
That was just your price. They were $70 to everybody else, but for you, they were $100. That was to make up for that 2-hour conversation.
That's $30 memory loss he's got there.
Anyway, well, that's what I recall. But anyway, and I couldn't wait to go home, but I did find a place to sell my Optic Guard, and I set up on the porch in front of one of the restaurants. Yeah. And I was there for about 6 or 7 months, and I kept on going down and watching Eric, and I got the discs from you. Mm-hmm. Took them home and watched them that day, and I got so excited I watched them all twice. Then I went and got my wife and made her sit down and watch them with me, and she got excited about it. So we wound up calling and found out that you guys are only about a mile and a half away from where we live.
Yeah.
So we drove over to the house. I called first, and we drove over to the house, and I spent another $100 and some odd buying the plastic lettering and some more supplies, and just thrilled with what we were learning. And I practiced at home for 2 days, because this all happened on a Wednesday, and I practiced on Thursday and Friday, and set up at a little swap meet in Golden Valley.
Oh, that's right.
And the first weekend I sold $300 worth of signs.
That's right.
With 2 days practice, and nowhere near as good as what a sign I'm producing was today. But then I would take my signs over to Eric, my practice signs, and get a lot of corrective criticism from Eric and a lot of criticism from Dave.
Not corrective, just criticism.
Just criticism.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Oh, it is, because Dave would take a sign that I was proud of, and he'd go, "Well, it's not quite straight."
Yeah.
Boy, you have improved, though.
So now
you
I
have
do things
really
like this, where I
improved.
draw my lines and then do my lettering. But anyway, I think I've come a long way in 8
You've
years.
come a long ways. Yeah, just your signs are looking so good.
Well, thank
and
you.
that just shows that you spent the hours practicing and just sitting down and going for it.
And I use one of your lines, and I use it quite frequently. now I can say I've made thousands of signs. Maybe not 8,000, but close. But I've made thousands of signs. I still haven't made the perfect sign.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's okay because I do these freehand. And if they were perfect, then it would be done by a CNC machine.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't feel anywhere near as proud of my signs as what I'm feeling because of the way Eric and Dave.
You feel like most people can do what you do if they just practice?
Oh, sure, anybody can.
If they like it and practice at it?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure that you've got members on your YouTube channel because of people that I've sent there because I went by and I got some discs and some cards from you guys, and they're all gone. They were gone within a couple of weeks and I wouldn't just give them out arbitrarily if somebody was really interested.
Yeah,
I've heard
that we did that.
I sit here during the day and I'll see some girl who really, really likes a sign and she'll say, gee, I'd like to get that. And the guy will look at it and say, well, I'll tell you what, I've got a router. I'll make you one when we get home. And I want so bad to say, hey, send me a picture of it.
Yeah, we used to hear that quite a bit.
Yeah, when I was carving, guys say, I think I could do that. I said, come over here and sit down. Let's see if you can do it. Never had anybody take me up on it.
Yeah.
Well, I remember one time we were at either a horse show or we were at a fair, and I was carving, and Dad was watching me, and I was 16. I was probably 15, 16 at the time. And a guy said the same thing. Oh, I got a router, I can do that. And Dad said, I got a $100 bill. If you can come around here and do what my son just did, $100 bill is yours. And then all of a sudden, he kind of backed off a little bit, walked off. But that.
Look out behind you.
Here comes Jody.
Jody,
He doesn't
if
even
those
know.
are trash, just drop them right here. I'll take them. Okay. Just put them right down there. I'll take them.
So
I
we
use
don't
them
edit,
between
you
myself.
guys. Obviously,
Yeah.
we don't edit.
We don't edit, we just keep rolling.
Just keep rolling. So, anyway, yeah, you're doing a great job. So, you obviously are not carving on site.
No,
Which I talked
there's a
about
few
before.
reasons for that, but number one, in this location where I am, I wouldn't be able to get away with A, the noise, or B, the supposed in the mind, the supposed dust that I would create. So rather than do that, and because I've got a full setup at home and I took a lot of time and trouble to build this, I take orders, but I offer free shipping. And that solves the problem.
Well, I think there's a lot of people that would do the same thing if they knew they could. Go out and set up the way you are, take orders, then carve them and ship them. I think that's a great idea.
But you guys haven't pushed that. And for the people who are making signs but can't find the location to make the noise that it would take, hey, do what I did. I mean, if you've shown this attracts a lot of attention. I get a lot of visitors. Okay, my business is slow, but I like it that way. I sell 2, 3, sometimes 4 signs a day, but I'm here 5 days a week. So somewhere between 10 and 20 signs a week. At my cost, my profitability is about $35 for signs, so that's $150, $300, about $800 a week in signs. It seems like,
And this is
part-time.
And I know the other thing that you were saying is because the OptiGuard, your glass
That's
cleaner,
my big thing.
It is your main gig.
Yes.
The signs is just kind of a supplement to that.
That's what
and
it started out
if
as.
you were carving on site, you would probably miss a lot of business.
I would miss
that
an awful lot of
that
business,
would
yeah.
be going by that you could sell your glass cleaner to.
Yeah.
So I know that was a big part of it too. So yeah, it can be a part-time gig for somebody that's doing something else. If they're selling souvenirs or doing something else, the signs as a non-on-site carving can be a supplement, just like it is for you.
Yeah.
And I know Bob Hatch, and I've talked about Bob. He's back in Maine. He doesn't do any on-site carving either. Sells tons of signs, makes great looking signs. So, and there are guys out there that are doing it. But, I've always kind of talked about carving on site because that's what I grew up doing. I've been doing it since I was 11 years old.
There's nothing wrong with carving on
Yeah.
site, don't take me wrong, but with the type of carving that I do, I cannot do it on site because the fonts that you don't make the plastic letters for the what's the word I want to use, the layout letters.
Yeah.
You don't make them in all the fonts that I want to have available, so I do it a different way.
Yeah, you just got your own system, and
as
it
long
works.
as you want nothing but green Chevrolets, I can sell you green Chevrolets all day long. But if you want another color or another car, You're going to have to go someplace
and
else.
that's the thing is because you're not carving on site, you don't have to have the speed of having the layout letters, and you've got the availability to use whatever font because you're doing all your layout at home.
Right.
So that just makes it nice. So that's another option, another advantage of doing it at home rather than doing it on site.
Right.
So
Would it be hard if I say how I do them at home? Okay.
knock yourself out.
I buy my lumber at one of the stores that he goes to, and another store he doesn't like. I found out the store he doesn't like will cut 2 cuts on each piece of wood, so I can get it pre-cut there. I pick out 10 really good pieces of lumber and get each one cut twice. So
The
I
cedar
wind up-
fencing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I get it for like $2.35 for a 6-footer.
Right.
But I walk out of there with 30 pieces of board,
Yeah.
and each one is worth $45 to me.
And it costs you about $1.
Well, I figure out my cost is about 83 cents for the 83 cents. Okay. Then I go home and I do all my layout in the morning on Sunday. I'm off on Mondays and Tuesdays. So Monday morning I do the layouts on all that I sold this prior week. And I take them out to my shed and I do all of the profiling.
A lot of outside letters, obviously.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I'm just getting into the inset letters, but
That's
I
right.
don't do much of that. I
Yeah.
do the outset letters.
Yeah.
But if I have 10 of them to do, then I'll do all 10 of the inset lettering at one time
Yeah.
and put them in a stack beside me. And I usually try to do the most difficult one first, so that at the end of the day, or the end of the time I'm out there, I'm not dragging my butts. Oh, I got the easy ones to do now. It's going to be a lot easier. Then I go around and do the cloud. Do all 10 of them at one time. Then I do all the painting at one time.
Yeah.
Then I do all the sanding. And by the way, you were asked once if you pre-sand your wood before you put the lettering on there. I do, because it makes drawing on there much easier on a smooth surface than it does
Yeah,
on a
and
rough.
I do too.
But it doesn't take that long.
No,
And,
you just hit it. I don't smooth sand them. I just take the roughness off so it doesn't have that cedar fence rough.
Well, what you want is something that doesn't feel like that, but feels more like this, instead of working with something
Yeah,
like that.
and then I leave this till the end.
Right.
And then I just
I only do
cross
the
it.
one side,
Yeah.
and I go through and I very carefully decide which side. And by the way, I love knots on the wood, even if it's in the middle of a word.
Yeah.
I've always told people, yeah, knots are God's gift to the wood. Anyway, then I do all of my painting at one time. Then I do all of my sanding at one time.
Right.
And if you do it this way, I can get the 10 signs done in one day.
Yeah.
Where if you take it apart, how much time I spend on the sign, it could be very easily come out to my method anywhere from 2 to 4 hours per sign.
Right.
But by mass producing them the way I do,
Do them all in one
do
shot.
them all in one shot, everything gets done at one
Yeah.
time.
And honestly, when I have signs to do at the shop, I do them the same way. I get all my profiling done, all my inset letters done, and I do them the same kind of thing. When I was up here carving on site, now,
One at a time.
yeah, you have to do them one at a time. But my setup was all for that, so I have 15, 20 minutes doing all the whole operation. But yeah, everybody has their own niche. Everybody has their own way of doing it. But it sounds like you got it down.
We're getting pretty close to time out here, Bart.
Are we?
Yeah.
Running out of time?
Yeah, we're running out of time.
All right, so let's wrap it up. My friend,
You are welcome to come back anytime, with or
No,
without,
I think
the
it's gonna be-
camera, but you got to bring your dad each time.
I think it's going to be valuable for him. I think you guys, just another way to do it. It's not the way I do it, but hey, everybody's got their own way to do it. So it just shows you it's your business. You can do it, whatever works for you. But I'm proud of you, man. You done good.
I got to tell you, I'm proud of you.
Me.
Yeah, if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't be doing this.
Well,
And if it hadn't been Dad teaching you,
there you
and
go.
so without
it
Dad,
all runs downhill.
All right, fellas.
We're all blessed.
Thanks for all of us.
Okay. All right,
All right,
guys.
say goodbye.
come to
we'll,
Oatman and visit us.
So we'll see you coffee and questions on Saturday morning. Bye,
All right.
guys. See ya.
Later, and she said, "Can I change the words on that sign?" And I said, "Well, sure. I haven't made it yet." She
I
said,
really
"Well,
like
I wanted
this.
to say I kicked cancer's ass because she's a cancer survivor."
Oh,
That's cool.
And I said, "Well, you know what? In that case, I'm going to make 2 of them."
Yeah. No, that's
And the
really
girl that
cool.
works inside said, "What are you going to do with the second one?" I said, "I'm going to put it out here on display." And she said, "You're going to sell it to me. I'm going to give it to my next door neighbor." So I made 3. This is my 3rd one. I've made about 5 more of them since then. That people
Great.
I
like
bet you
this
have. Yeah.
for cancer survivors.
So in case you guys didn't know, this is what Oatman's all about. People come up to see the burros. This girl here was here when I was carving. Her name is April. I used to know all their names, now just a few of them. But this one is April. She's had lots of babies, but she's one of the locals. She's a sweetheart. Say hi, April.